Alright, welcome to the Ceracell video. Today we're just going to be going through these Ceracell hives and just checking to see if they're doing alright. I've got some Apiguard in there, so we'll see how the bees are taking the Apiguard down. The Apiguard is the Varroa treatment. It's in a tray, and I will show you how that's working in the hives. Yeah, we'll just go through all these hives here and just see how they're doing, and we'll show you what we believe is the best way to overwinter your hives. So you can see with this Apiguard treatment, we've got like a little wafer here. We put the thymol in, and then the bees will get the wafer and then distribute it out the front of the hive. And as the bees put it in their mouth and go through the hive, it's releasing the chemical, which then the fumes kill the Varroa in the hive. We'll just gently lift this up. You can see there's lots of brood here. Beautiful looking brood here. Just getting this one up the front. And the rest. Lots of honey. Small brood on this side. Lots of brood here, lots of new nurse bees, which is good. You can see lots of new eggs, so the queen is laying well. There's capped brood, but in between the capped brood, the bees have emerged, and then the queen's going right back into where the nurse bees just emerged and start laying in there again. So this hive's looking very, very strong. Lots of pollen. Just found the queen. She's just here down the bottom. Nice, big, long abdomen. It's a bit hard to see. Just down the bottom corner there. Very calm hive, not jumping up at me at all. Another frame of brood. Another frame of capped brood here. Exactly what you want. Now if you're finding it hard to see the frame, all you got to do is put the frame back down and give it a little jolt to see so you can have a better look at it, just like that. Lots of cat brood here. All this down here is just drone brood. So all this bubbly stuff is just drones. Kind of ugly looking frame, but we find the bees are coming up, just give them a little smoke and they'll move down. So now we're just going into its reserve, so you got capped honey there, and then you got a bit of brood and honey here, and then these next two frames will just be the same, but it'll just be nectar. So as you can see, as you go towards the middle of the hive, it's more just brood, and then on the outside it's just capped honey. See? So we're pretty happy with this hive, so we'll just close it up. Just give you room to put this last frame in. Top feeder rim on here, so the bees have got space to get up and actually get at the Apiguard, is you want them to grab it. See, this hive's doing really well. You know, it's got lots of nectar, lots of reserves. The queen's still laying well. Lots of new bees, and it's got its treatment. So there's no reason why I don't believe that this hive shouldn't survive going into winter. But if you want that queen to keep ticking over, just give a very small amount of feed, like 1 to 2 liters, and then that will just allow the queen to increase her laying. Even though she is laying quite heavily now, which is good, that liquid is just the stimulation that you need. It stimulates the queen to lay, little influx of syrup from your feed, and that will just keep the hive population high going into winter, giving you really high insulation, lots of bees to look after a large amount of brood, and then that's what you're trying to accomplish. So we'll just go through these other hives and we'll see how they're going. Do the same thing here. This will be in the same sort of format. It's got its Apiguard in here, and you see I've written on the top of the lid, Apiguard 50 grams, 11th of the 3rd 22, and then I just put in my phone, after 2 weeks I'm going to put another round in, and then leave that for a further 6 weeks, and that's your Apiguard treatment done for the winter. Start from the second frame in. This gives me the ability to lever it up and then use my hook on the other side, lever it up again, and if you want to stop it from sticking to the other one, just gently lift her up, just like that. You've got lots of nectar, pollen. And you just leave this one out, and then it gives you room to work the rest of the hive. But you see, you'll find that your brood is generally in the middle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames. And then you might have half a frame of brood on this one and half a frame of brood on this one. And then all your outside frames, this will be honey, this will be honey. So yeah, so we've got a lot of nectar and honey here, but there's a little bit of newly laid eggs just here. So this side will be just the same, sort of a small amount of brood. You can see there, this is all this little patch of newly laid eggs. And you see the bees are sticking their head in the uncapped nectar on the outside, and then they'll start looking after this once these eggs have hatched. See if you can see the eggs in there. It's probably a bit hard to see. Just gently put it back in. Got a frame of honey in the middle of the hive. So there's just more nectar in here. Starting to get into the brood, so we've got more newly laid eggs here. Just in there. Lots of nectar and honey still, so all the brood are here. A little bit of capped brood here, pollen, nectar here. We're starting to get into the brood here. There's not a lot of brood, but it's just what's happening is getting honey bound. So you see all this is all backfilled. So the queen can't lay in here, so she's only got this amount of room to lay in. So the bees are kind of restricting her. Got cat brood here. So I'd like to see a bit more brood. Oh, here we go. So we've got a nice frame of brood here, you can immediately tell. And on this side, another good frame of brood. Another frame of brood here, newly laid eggs, cat brood on the left there. More cat brood. Another frame of brood here. Let's see what this outside one is. Generally the outside one, like I was saying before, is full of honey. Yeah, it's bloody heavy. You can see it's just full. It's just full frame of honey there. Cool, so this one's looking pretty good. You can see at this time of year you have lots of intruders. If you leave your frame out, you can see these German wasps get in there. And you don't want them to just have free range like that. So this is the time when you want to start reducing your entrance. With there being wasps around, what you want to do is either reduce your entrances down to a really small amount or put a robbing screen on. So now this is what I use. I use just some sponge that I can get from the warehouse, or what we do have, which is just coming out very soon, is what we call the Ceracell beast block. Now that's coming out very soon, and we've just got some trialed on our hives, and this is what it looks like. So you can see when the bees get used to it, they will just come in, fly, go up and down, and this stops any robbing bees or other wasps trying to get in, because they are just trying to get in through this grate. And the great thing about it is, if you want to move your hive, just drop the paddles down and the hive's now secure. Or if your hive's under a heavy attack, just close it for 24 to 48 hours, and you'll find that because the robbing bees or wasps can't get in, they'll simply just give up, and then your hive will still be able to survive because it's got ventilation through the grate. And this is a great way to stop robbing. Or if you want to reduce the entrance down, just give one paddle entrance open. You've got about a 50mm entrance here, and that will also help the hive defend itself with a smaller entrance. Varroa that the bees are getting rid of from the Apiguard. Out the front is all dead Varroa, and they're all just bringing all the dead Varroa out the front, and it's the treatment from Apiguard, which is really, really good to see. Just give the bees a little smoke, and then I just simply cut my sponge and just stuff it in the entrance, and then that's the sort of entrance that I want going into winter. Real small entrance, easy for the hive to defend, a 30mm entrance. That's what you want to go for. Nice frame of brood here. Lots of bees, but it's quite hard to see what they're doing. So what we'll do is we'll just clear it. All you got to do is just give them a gentle push down. They're all okay. And then we've got our frame that we can look at, because we need to look at the frame to see what's going on. So, cat brood, you see this is nurse bees, a bit older bees, sort of drone brood coming out, and you see this drone's trying to merge here. So this larvae is about to get capped, but you see you've got drone brood here. But generally queens do this. They'll just make drone brood everywhere. But because she's laying a good amount of worker brood, this frame is looking pretty good. You can see all the bright white. Let's see, you might get a twinkle there as I sort of shimmy the frame. Just gently put that frame out, give them a smoke, keep them down, work the hive like this, push it out and work it. Oh, there's the queen there. Just over here, just up on my thumb there. See, it's a long, skinny queen. But you see, it doesn't matter what the queen looks like, it's what her brood pattern looks like. So we know the queen's on this frame, lots of brood, some new eggs capped. So what we'll do, because I know the queen's on this side, what I'll do is I'll flip it around. And then I know that when I push this frame across, I'm going to be pushing her into this frame. But when I push down, I'm not going to squish her. Just gently move her over. More brood. Got pollen and brood here. Lots of uncapped brood here. Another good frame of brood. Still got drones in the hive, which is, you know, a good sign going into March. Generally, if your hive isn't happy, they usually get rid of your drones really quick, simply to sort of reserve the resources that they've kept through summer. Like another nice frame of brood here. You know, you really want to keep your queen laying going into winter. This is what's been happening. Another good frame of brood. Looking really good. You see, look, I don't really muck around with the frames. It'd be pretty evident if there's a queen cell or anything, but this is a whole frame of brood here. All here, established brood nest. You can see lots of new bees, lots of nurse bees. So that's nurse bee, nurse bee, nurse bee. See, the wings are all sort of tucked together. And they're like really white. Another frame of brood. Looking really good here. Good population of bees, you know, this is what you want. The more frames of brood you have, the higher your population. But at this time of year, the hive's not really going to swarm, simply because they can tell the season's coming to an end, the days are getting shorter, and they're actively working themselves, getting ready for winter. Look at that, beautiful frame of honey. So all the frames of honey are on the outside of the hives. There you go, look at that, beautiful. Easy as that. We're done with this hive. Just squish the frames together to give ourselves room. This last frame here, gently drop it down, and you're good to go. Give it a quick puff. Not going to have any trouble with it getting robbed out.
Exactly what you want.
Yeah, there's just a quick sort of winter check. You can see the quite interesting on that hive, the Varroa, the dead Varroa, the bees are pulling out, so we know that the Apiguard's working. Also, the hives are in really good nick, high population, the queen's laying. This is what you want to do. But before this, you know, we spent a lot of time in feeding them gradually to get that queen laying and keep her laying going into winter, so your population strong. The stronger your population, the better the queen can create her own brood nest. You know, we got 3 or 4 frames of brood here. This is what you want. You don't want to just rely on the bees' honey reserves. Just having honey reserves isn't gonna instigate the queen to lay. So feeding is the trigger. It's that trigger that gets the queen laying. If you've just got frames of honey, it's not going to keep that queen laying. So the feeding is the critical part here. So we spent the last month just gradually feeding the hive, getting the hive up to this point, and then it can consistently maintain itself going into winter. And yeah, that's all you need to do going into winter. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys need any further advice, Ceracell does have an online beginners course, which I'll put in the link below. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.